Hi guys, and welcome to my Genki 1 grammar course. I'm really excited to be doing this, so thank you for joining me. Let's take a quick look at the course overview. Okay, so number 1, this course basically follows the Genki 1 order, although I will deviate in some situations. Number 2, the course assumes a knowledge of hiragana and katakana. If you don't know those yet, use the links that I provided in the video description to learn them first, and then come back to the course. Okay, number 3, the course focuses on grammar, not vocabulary. Okay, of course, I will introduce some vocabulary to explain the grammar points that will be covered in the course, but the focus won't be on vocabulary, so you'll have to learn that on your own outside of the course. Okay, I do want you guys to make the most of the course, so let's take a look at how to do that. Okay, so number 1, go through the provided comprehension and listening exercises provided in each lesson. Okay, so these will be part of the video. I will give you some time to think of an answer and respond. Try to answer before I reveal the correct answer, and that'll just help you kind of ingrain the material that you're learning in this course. Okay, number 2, try to associate grammar structures with feelings and images as much as possible. So I will, of course, use English to explain grammar structures, but I do think it's important to try to get away from the English as soon as you can, and a good way to do that is to associate structures with feelings and images. This does take practice and it does take time, but it's something to be aware of, and I think it'll really help you improve your Japanese a lot. Okay, number 3, immerse yourself in Japanese as much as possible. Find an anime, a drama that you like, a manga, a book, magazine, podcast, music, whatever, and immerse yourself. That is how you're going to expose yourself to the grammar structures that you're learning in this course in the first place, and that will help you refine your understanding of those grammar structures. So this is very important. I can't recommend this enough. Also, make an output habit. Okay, you can talk to yourself in the shower, you can write a diary, you can write a blog, you can write comments in Japanese on my YouTube channel. Anything is okay, just make sure you have an output habit. It's best if you do this a couple minutes a day at least, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get. Number 5, ask questions proactively. Okay, so you can just ask questions directly in the comment section of this video and other course videos, and I will get back to you. Alright guys, without further ado, let's jump into lesson number 1. Okay, so this comes from chapter 1 of the Genki textbook, and the point we'll be looking at today is X wa Y des. Okay, so we start with this pattern, something des. Des is the copulative in Japanese, and that's just a fancy way of saying that it's used to say that one thing is another. Okay, so you can translate it is. Okay. Before we look at some examples here, guys, it's very important to note that in Japanese, context determines meaning. Okay, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about in these examples here. Okay, so let's start with this one. Neko desu. Okay, neko means cat. Okay, desu. So literally what this means is a cat, or it is a cat, basically. But the context might determine that the subject is my pet. Now, it doesn't have to be my pet. It could be his pet, could be her pet, could be that animal over there, could be my favorite food, whatever. But basically, all you're saying with neko desu is that something is a cat. Okay? Next, let's look at the next example. Okay, so Instagram desu. Okay, so this app is Instagram. And once again, the actual sentence itself just means is Instagram, and the context might determine that it's this app, although it could be that app or my favorite app or whatever. Okay, next example we have 3月9日です. 3月9日です. Okay, so this literally means, once again, is March 9th, but it could be her birthday is March 9th, or my birthday is March 9th, or our anniversary is March 9th, okay, depending on the context. All right, so what do you do if you want to specify the topic of the sentence? Well, you can use the next pattern here, okay? X wa Y desu. Okay, X is Y. Now, it's very important to note, guys, that we're specifying the topic of the sentence, not necessarily the subject. Okay, so those are different in Japanese. You don't have to worry about that too much now. I'll talk about that in a future course in more detail. Okay, for now, just be aware that wa, this character here, wa, is the topic marking particle Okay, and a good translation of this is as for. Well, it's more a good way of thinking of it. You wouldn't usually use that as a translation, but it's a good way of thinking of the meaning of wa. Okay, so Japanese has lots of different particles. They usually consist of one character, although sometimes more, and they mark what part of speech a word is and give you grammatical information about the words that they are attached to. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. Chichi wa daiku desu. Okay, chichi wa daiku desu. Chichi means my father. Wa, okay, so that's the topic of the sentence. Daiku means carpenter. Chichi wa daiku desu means my father is a carpenter. And if you want to really get the sense of what wa means, you can think of this as for my father, he is a carpenter. Okay, that's a good way of getting the sense of the meaning of wa. And remember, guys, like I said in the introduction, try to get the feeling, try to have an image or feeling of what this particle actually means. It's marking the topic, right? And then we use des, the copulative, to say that my father is a carpenter. Okay, let's look at the next example. Bleach wa anime desu. Okay, bleach wa anime desu. Okay, Bleach is an anime. Okay, so once again, as for Bleach, we use wa to mark the topic of the sentence. As for Bleach, it's an anime. Okay, using the copulative to say what it is. Okay, last example. Takashi-san wa Nihonjin desu. Takashi-san wa Nihonjin desu. Okay, once again, as for Takashi, he is Japanese, or just Takashi is Japanese. Okay, so you might have noticed that in Japanese there is no article. Okay, the article is a or the in English. There's no article in Japanese. So, chichi wa daiku desu is translated here as my father is a carpenter, right? And bleach wa anime desu is translated as Bleach is an anime. But as you can see in the Japanese, there's nothing that indicates a or an. And what this also means is that number, grammatical number, is generally ambiguous in Japanese, okay? So for example, if you have the sentence ki desu, okay, ki desu, it could mean it's a tree, but it could also mean they are trees. Once again, this is determined by context, okay? So number is generally ambiguous in Japanese. So the reason I say generally is because there are some exceptions. Okay, so karera or watashitachi wa sakkar senshu desu. Okay, so here you use ra to make the word kare, he, plural. Okay, so he becomes they when you add ra. Okay, so they wa, okay, as for them, they are sakkar senshu desu. They're soccer players. Okay. Or watashi, this means I. If you add tachi to watashi, watashitachi, this means we. Okay, so watashitachi wa sakkar senshu desu. This would be we're soccer players. Okay, but these suffixes are used with people, words that refer to people usually. So you're not going to see them attached to tree or book or table or whatever, for example. Okay, good guys. So let's go ahead and move on to some listening comprehension. Okay, so I'm going to play a clip here from the drama Crisis. Go ahead and see if you can hear today's grammar points in this clip. Don't worry too much about vocabulary. There's some pretty advanced vocab here. Go ahead and just listen for today's grammar points. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is what we just heard. Let's take a look. The first speaker says 標的は. Okay, this means who's the target. Okay, so as you can see, this speaker has finished his sentence with wa, and he uses intonation to indicate that he's asking a question. Okay, so this is quite common in Japanese. Let's take a look at this pattern. You can say えは, which means as for A, what about A? You're asking a question. Okay. A common way to use this is with someone's name. So you can say お名前は? お名前は? This means what's your name? お is the honorific particle. So you're showing respect to the other person by attaching that to the word name. You're using the topic marking particle, and then you are using intonation to indicate that it's a question. お名前は? What's your name? Okay, and the second speaker in the dialogue says, Okamoto Monka Daijin desu. Okamoto Monka Daijin desu. Okay, so this means Mr. Okamoto, the Minister of Education. Okay, so Okamoto is the man's name. Monka Daijin is his position, Minister of Education. It's very common in Japanese to see a person's name followed by their position, okay, or title, I guess you could say. Okay, so if you want to put these all together, you can make a sentence as follows. 標的は岡本文科大臣です。標的は岡本文科大臣です。Okay, so this means the target is Mr. Okamoto, the Minister of Education. Okay, so let's take a look at the clip one more time and see if you can catch wa and des.
標的は岡本文科大臣です。
Alright guys, let's take a look at one more clip. This one is from Master. Once again, don't worry about the vocabulary. Just listen and see if you can catch today's grammar point. Here we go.
ここは魔法界。
Okay, so this is what we just heard. ここは魔法界。ここは魔法界。Okay, so this is a world of magic. So 魔法界, this phrase here is world of magic. And as you can see, we have wa. Okay, so that marks the topic, ここ, which is this place here. Okay, so ここは魔法界. This place is a world of magic. Here is a world of magic. And as you can see, in this case, des is actually not included. So des is sometimes omitted in Japanese. When you're first starting out, though, I do recommend using des to finish sentences that would end in des as much as possible. And over time, you'll get a sense of when it's okay to omit it. Okay, so you can say ここは魔法界です。ここは魔法界です。This is a world of magic. Okay, let's watch the clip one more time and see if you can pick up wa.
ここは魔法界。
Alright, how'd you guys do? Did you catch it? Let's move on to some comprehension exercises. Okay, so these are just the example sentences that I used in the lesson. So let's go ahead and look at these. So 猫 something, Instagram something, 3月9日 something. Okay, so what goes here? This is a tough one, I know. Here we go. です. Yeah, 猫です. My pet is a cat. Instagram です. This app is Instagram. 3月9日です. Her birthday is March 9th. Alright, moving on to the next one. Okay, 父 something, 大工です. My father is a carpenter. Bleach something, anime です. Bleach is an anime. Takashi-san something, 日本人です. Takashi is Japanese. Okay, what goes here? Indeed, it is wa. Alright, did you guys get it? Okay, speaking of wa, what is wa? It's the something particle. The something particle. It's the topic marking particle. Okay. Alrighty guys, that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments and questions and help me improve this course. How would you like me to change the format of the lesson? What things would you like me to include, exclude, etc.? Let me know guys, and I will try to make this as good as I possibly can. I won't be able to accommodate to everyone's requests, but I will do my best to improve the course based on your feedback. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. またね。